I need to let people know. I need to remind them on a weekly basis that Killer Kross is still in here. You know, the name may change, but the crime scene is going to remain the same, guys.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back into iHeartRadio's official wrestling podcast, the Battleground Podcast. It is Battle from 95.7 Big FM, and we are very excited about this. WWE returns to Green Bay June 16th for Monday Night Raw. Tickets are still available for you right now at Ticketmaster.com. And right now, we've got a guy on the show that we have been a fan of for a very, 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 very long time.
Since the Killer
Give
Days.
it up.
Killer Days.
From Killer Days, but give it up for Karrion Kross. Join the show, Karrion Kross. Thank you for coming on. How are you doing, sir?
Very good. I'm getting applauses everywhere I'm going now. Are you guys bad guys too?
I think so. And I got to tell you, normally Eli likes to try to wear t-shirts of our guests. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go buy a Karrion Kross shirt because I want to support him, especially after WrestleMania. But then as I look here on WWEshop.com, your t-shirt is apparently a special event item and will not be shipped no later than Friday, June 27th.
Is that insane or what?
Yeah, man.
Insane. How does that make you feel when you see something like that, that you are the #1 selling shirt, you're up there on the homepage? And I think it all had to do with people saying, hey, you know what? Karrion's my guy, especially after the WrestleMania thing.
It feels really good, man. Honestly, you know, a lot of people get reactions. Okay, we don't have to, you know, we don't have to embellish, when you know, and blow it up and make it seem like a bigger deal than it actually is. But when a guy's only had one match on Raw all year, and he lost that match, and then he goes to SmackDown and he loses the Battle Royal too, and his T-shirt's doing this well, and the crowd is now cheering for the bad guy. I think that's saying something here. Am I right or am I wrong?
No, I believe you're 100% right. And I think WWE's finally listening. I've seen photos of people posting up online that you can now buy Karrion Kross shirts at the merch stand at these WWE shows. It's sitting next to a Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt on the merch rack.
Yes.
I mean, finally it's happening, and we are super excited about this. But I want to go back just for a brief second to that post-WrestleMania promo that went viral. Everybody was talking about it. I know a lot of people were like, who's Alan? And that's a different time for a different story.
Yeah.
But you dropped the name that a lot of fans, including myself and Eli, marked out about. You dropped Killer Kross. The name on WWE programming for probably, I think, the first time. With that being said, what was the message you were aiming to send to both the fans and WWE management?
Look, the message is, I can hit home runs too. I am here. I don't want people to feel like I'm ignoring what they want to see out of me. I've known for a very long time. The challenge is to find the common ground and the middle ground between what the company needs for the program and what the audience needs. And very serendipitously, I had a moment that day where I had an open format. And, you know, I've even said before, you can't take the audience just being there watching for granted. You have to give them a reason once they tune in as to why they're watching. And another concern that I had that day was people were going to be burned out from watching WrestleMania because it was a very, very big show. You know, typically once a wrestling program ends, most people, they're not looking to continue watching more wrestling.
Yeah.
And I wanted something to happen. I wanted to be responsible for something where people that are leaving the venue when they're driving home, they hear that something happened on that Sam Roberts show. I didn't want to just say, hey, well, these are the people that are going to be watching. They're going to see it. I wanted to create a moment where people go, I'm going to turn on the Sam Roberts podcast and see what this was. And that's what it's all about. I'm trying to do that with everything that I'm doing. I want there to be intrigue. I want there to be a reason why somebody might watch something I'm saying or doing once or twice. I'm always working with callbacks. I'm always working with foreshadowing. And I've even said before, like with certain heels in the program, they're attempting to elicit a negative response to get those boos, right? Pro wrestling is a show, WWE, it's a variety act. So you have a bunch of people that are going to elicit boos and whatnot at the show. It's important. It's important to have like the full spectrum, the full menu, so to speak. So what can Karrion Kross do? Karrion Kross can create thought pieces for people. And obviously that thought piece really resonated.
Right. Yeah. So to echo what you said, I was in Vegas last month, and yes, after wrestling, the shows, I need a break. I need to rehydrate and stuff. So yeah, I agree with what you said about needing a little punch after wrestling events and stuff. All right. So, one thing that sort of happened that could have been a stumbling block, I guess you might say, was, kind of the disbandment of the Final Testament, and then, AOP and Paul Ellering not with the company anymore. How has that shift impacted your trajectory, either perceived or otherwise? And what lessons have you taken from that alliance? Kind of finding the good from the bad, I guess.
It just keeps me on my toes more than anything. A lesson I learned very early on in my career when I first got started in Vegas was everything can change. Like, guys, literally, as I'm walking through the curtain, depending on where people landed with their times in the show and stuff like that, I may get different marching orders right as I'm about to walk through the curtain. And you need to be able to adapt in those types of settings. So I just kind of applied that philosophy and tried to put it through my creative filter to create engaging content for you guys whenever I'm on. Like, I may only be in the background for 5 seconds, but I'm going to make sure that I'm doing something meaningful in those 5 seconds. So New Day may be having a conversation and I may be about 30 feet away. What am I doing? Am I just standing there? A lot of people will just stand there. Perhaps I'm wearing a New Day shirt, or I'm wearing somebody else's shirt, or, my hair or my outfit. I'm trying to create. Basically trying to squeeze blood from a stone. That's basically what I'm trying to do.
You're like a walking Easter egg. Like, people look for you now and like, oh, did we see that? Let's back up. Oh, was there a shirt? I mean,
Yes.
that you're like a live action Easter egg.
And I will say, like you said, I mean, it is fun to watch because when you're on screen, I mean, the thing that I noticed, like you said, you're wearing their t-shirts, or what really pops is when you're like, whatever hairstyle the person has, you have that same hairstyle. When it was like, AJ, you wore your hair straight just like his, and Xavier, and everything else, which is great. And it makes you think even more into what is Karrion about to do.
Absolutely. Create thought pieces for people, something to think about. Is he foreshadowing? Is he manipulating? Is he telling the truth? Is he telling half the truth? These are the things that I'm trying to incorporate with what I'm given. And you have to try to, you'll be given something, and let's say this is what we're looking for today. I personally, as a performer, I have to say to myself when I look at that, okay, I'll give him that. But what more can I give people with this very little thing in comparison to what other people are getting in the show? Longer formats, live promos, live time to nurture that relationship with the audience. How much can I get out of this 5 seconds? I would love to be out there, doing a live promo with people, especially now with the way I'm being received. But if this is all I have, you don't need to cry and complain about it and mope around about it. What can we get out of this so people can talk about it and have a laugh? Or they say, hey, he's telling us something here. He's saying this guy's not going to win, that guy's not going to win. He's saying these guys really aren't friends. And then you see it play out in real time over like a 2 to 4 week period. So that's how I'm approaching all of it. With the group being gone, I just said to myself, okay, I know what I'm doing. I know how to do this. I need to let people know. I need to remind them on a weekly basis that Killer Kross is still in here. The name may change, but the crime scene is going to remain the same, guys. It's going to remain the same. So that's how I move forward like that.
Yeah.
And it's got to be just incredible to say that, the Road Warriors manager was your manager at one point. I mean, that's check that off the list. That's incredible.
Absolutely, for sure. And of course, WWE returns to Green Bay June 16th, Monday Night Raw. Tickets still available at Ticketmaster.com. And you mentioned foreshadowing and Easter eggs and everything. Like, we could go down this rabbit hole. I know there was like a conspiracy theory that Karrion Kross predicted the bloodline breaking up when you had the hourglass and you turned it over. And then eventually we saw the bloodline break up, and, you foreshadow things. And I want to talk about during a recent segment, Scarlett was standing on a ladder while you confronted Sami Zayn. Was that maybe a subtle hint at maybe an involvement in the upcoming ladder match that some people like to call Money in the Bank?
Well, look, maybe that was just a coincidence. just depends on what you believe in. Some people believe in black magic. Other people just believe in coincidences. I mean, this is what I'll say about it. We're very, very motivated and very eager to let people know we hear them and we see them. I take all of the good and the bad, whether it's on social media or it's live events, into consideration. I enjoy winning people over and turning them into fans when they weren't fans to begin with. I have always been told my entire career that when people have seen me perform, they've brought friends and family, whether it was their girlfriends, their wives, their boyfriends, or their husbands. They didn't like wrestling. They saw my act and they became intrigued and started watching it. I've always heard that about the entrance. Guys watching wrestling on TV and their wives making fun of them about it. Oh, you watch that? And then they see us walking down to the ring and they get real quiet and they bust out the popcorn and they start watching. Like, I take such great pride in that, of being able to create new fans. I also think about the fans that are plugged in and want to see what I know we can do. And our hands aren't totally on the wheel. You know what I'm saying? I just want people to know that we hear them and we see them. And that's why you saw a ladder. That's why you saw Scarlett hanging out on a ladder. We see and hear you guys. I don't want you to think that we're ignoring you. That's for sure. I'm not going to ignore the fans. Absolutely not.
That's killer.
A pun intended.
Yeah. I was gonna say, and going back to the Easter egg thing, I mean, with WWE's infrastructure, I mean, you could show up on Evolve, you could show up on Main Event, you could show up on NXT, like you could show up anywhere.
Go back to the old stomping grounds of TNA.
You could pop up on TNA, like, and it would make sense. Like you've kind of got that character where it's kind of like, huh. Well, I haven't seen him on Evolve before, but like now, what is he doing? Like you're kind of drawing those eyes in. So yeah,
I cultivated that, and did that deliberately. No one's going to tell me we don't know what to do with you.
Right.
Nobody's going to tell me that.
Right.
You could do anything with this character.
Right.
So we could be anywhere doing anything at any time, and that's where you meet them halfway. You can't rely on the machine to just hand you everything that you want. You got to work for it. You have to show that you're adaptable. You can't drag your feet when you're doing something that you may or may not, want to be doing. Like, I'm going to try to get everything I possibly can out of everything that's given to me. And it's not just for career advancement. It's because, again, like I said, you do not take advantage of the fact that people are watching. It could be the first time they ever see you. You got to show them something. You got to give them something.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, I love that answer. I know if we preface this or not, we're not like a gotcha show or anything like that, so I'm not trying to throw something on you in there. But I do have a John Moxley question if you're comfortable with it.
Sure.
You'd mentioned, he did assist you connecting with Triple H and stuff. Can you elaborate maybe on your relationship with him and like your impact directly, and then maybe if you to kind of break up some tribalism, maybe give him his flowers. I mean, Dean Ambrose as a character is a very, very important character for WWE.
John's a former WWE champion. He's competed and performed with some of the best people in the world. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, The Shield, I didn't know him. I put out a promo attempting to pique intrigue to see if that's a match people wanted. They wanted it. Mm-hmm. He didn't know me. I didn't know him. I really wanted to work with him as soon as I found out that, he wasn't signed. And he showed up. We didn't know each other. We worked. And then as soon as we got backstage, I don't know. I don't want to, it feels weird talking about somebody else giving you compliments about your work.
It is.
But
yeah.
he was very complimentary. And that's where that conversation began. And not to stir the pot, but I just, I want John to be happy wherever he is. I do hope one day that he does come back to WWE, because I think it would be insane. And I
think a lot of people think that.
I would love to compete with him here. So we can finish what we started. That's what I will say.
Yeah. Great answer.
Yeah. Absolutely. Of course, we're here to talk about WWE returning Monday Night Raw, June 16th, Green Bay. Tickets still available, Ticketmaster.com. As we're starting to kind of wrap up the end of the show, we always like to have fun with our guests. And we want to know, if we were to look at Karrion's music playlist, and we're just kind of scrolling through, right? And we all of a sudden come across a song on the list that we're like, we didn't think Kross listens to this. What is that song on your playlist that people are going to be like, oh, that's kind of random?
Probably a few Miles Davis albums.
Ooh. I mean,
Pretty
if you've
solid.
got good taste, that's not random. You know what I mean? Like, I think for mainstream, that's kind of random, but no, that's impeccable. Yes. Miles
Those
Davis.
are definitely some solid ones. Well, Karrion, it's an honor and a privilege to have you on the show, man. We've been following your career. We've been fans of yours for a very long time. And just want to say thank you again for coming on the show. And is there anything you want to say to people watching or listening to this right now?
I want to say thank you to everybody who's in my corner, people who have been there from the beginning and people that are just getting in the corner now. I think the criticisms that I've been under since I've gotten back from WWE have actually helped me improve. I'm not one of those people where I'm just like, oh, you're not with me. Well, the hell with you. Like,
Right.
I take it all into consideration. It's made me better. It's made me hungrier. And if me being in Money in the Bank is something you want to see, or, you know, me being more heavily featured on the show is something you want to see, stay loud, hold your ground. I hear you every single Monday. I'm backstage doing things live. Deep in the building, I can hear you guys through the wall. And everybody comes up to me and goes, did you hear that? I'm like, yes, I did. It would be impossible not to. I could be in the parking garage and hear them through the wall. Coming to a WWE live event is unlike anything that anyone has ever experienced until you do it. Come to a live event and listen to that. I guarantee you it's 10 times louder live than it is through the TV speakers.
And also, while you're at that WWE live event, buy a Karrion Kross t-shirt at the merch stand now.
If you can find one.
They are selling out. So I spoke with merch this week. They're going to be carrying more in stock as well. So this was, I guess, you know, to them, a bit of an experiment. They wanted to see how they're doing. I think we sold out of every single size last Monday, except for large. So it's just talking to them and they're going to be carrying more as well. So
it's like a concert. Go buy the shirt first before you get to your seat, because then you're going to get mad because it's sold out. Trust me, I learned that at Metallica the first night. So
I learned that at Mania.
Karrion Kross
So,
t-shirts, buy your Monday Night Raw tickets. And again, Karrion, it's an honor and a privilege to have you on the show, man.
thank you for having me, guys. You're awesome.